When we answer the call to lead, there's a natural set of 6 leadership roles to be played and 3 core strategies that go with each. Woven together and executed by a web of leaders, the leadership roles and strategies create an environment that will support the efforts, risks, and sacrifices that are necessary for a successful journey of change. Each leadership role will offer different amounts of leverage at different times, but they all have their place, and none can be ignored without diminishing leadership's influence. The heroic journey plays out in 3 distinct acts, and the roles and strategies match the challenges of each act. And we need to keep in mind that there are always 2 goals. We're really trying to develop organizations and communities capable of sustained performance in health. In other words, heroic organizations and communities. Therefore, in leading any journey of change, there are always 2 critical goals to pursue. The first one is obviously to achieve the desired changes. That means to achieve the envisioned objectives of the current change or performance initiative. We must be effective in the short term to be around for the long term. The second goal is to build capacity for sustained success. We need to lead each journey of change in a way that builds the resilience and change adeptness of the organization for sustained success in health. Just getting through a journey isn't enough. We must build organizations that can repeatedly respond effectively to change and stay healthy in the process. This includes the development of an expanding base of heroic leaders. Now, we can play these roles in many ways. We can play them automatically as tasks to be gotten off a to-do list or out of a fear of failure. And we can also play them with great awareness and strategic intent as ways to create an influence and out of a sense of excitement and possibility. Let's start with Act 1. This is the beginning of the journeys. The 2 roles in the beginning of a major journey of change are characterized by an intensive effort to awaken people to the need for the journey, set direction, provide leadership structure and plans, and develop a core web of leaders to launch the journey with confidence and credibility. Lots of normal, natural, and self-protective questions arise. In fact, it gets pretty noisy around questions. These questions must be honored, and they must be answered as well and as quickly as possible. The short list includes, why do we need to go forth? What kind of leadership can we expect? Where are we going? How are we going to conduct the journey? What roles will we be expected to play? Will we be prepared or just thrown in? What will be in place to support us? What might the impact be on me, and what can I expect along the way? The real bottom line is that we're trying to mobilize and guide people's energy. If we don't answer those questions, it's going to be very hard to mobilize their vitality, their creativity, their willingness to put forth extra effort, to sacrifice, to experiment and take risks, to trust each other and the organization, and to learn the way as we progress. The first role that we need to look at is the role of the visionary. And the visionary has 3 core strategies that really define it. The first one is to create a shared perception of the need for the change and a sense of positive urgency about going forth. Second strategy is to create a strategic vision of the desired state and assess its likely impact on the organization and its people. The impact assessment is just as important as coming up with a vision, and that's a dangerous point because leadership races past that far too often. The third strategy is to create a vision of how the change journey will be conducted and the leadership commitment being made. In other words, this is where leadership puts itself on the line. The second leadership role is that of the architect, and like the visionary, it has 3 roles. The first is to create the organization design required to realize the vision of the desired state, and then to conduct a more detailed impact assessment. The organization design takes that 50,000-foot vision of the visionary and puts some detail around it and answers the question, nice vision, what kind of organization do we need to pursue it? The next strategy is to develop a plan for leading the journey in order to close the gap between the current reality and that envisioned desired state, and to manage the resistance along the way. The last strategy of the architect is to design the web of leaders and followers required for the journey and to build the core elements of that web. We're asking people to trust us and commit themselves fully, and we must be worthy of that trust, and we must demonstrate that worthiness through the way we execute these initial roles and strategies. The 3 leadership roles to be played on the path, which are the catalyst, the guide, and the builder, are designed for the long haul and require persistence, stamina, and discipline because there could be no wavering. The leaders who fill these roles are charged with persevering and holding the course, often for a long time. Most journeys really take an extended period of time to complete, and these roles must support people throughout all of the challenges that occur, many of which are going to be surprises. There are tremendous needs for communications, the building of capabilities, and the maintenance and expansion of the web of aligned leaders and followers. There's an equal need for guidance in dealing with endings, beginnings, and what you could call in-betweenity. We're also tasked with a renewal of energy and confidence and the ability to learn the way to navigate and stay on or return to the path. The catalyst in Act 2 does a lot of building on the work of the architect. The first strategy is to bring people into the web of leaders with clear roles, expectations, and support. Second role is to add the operational detail to the vision and the organizational design. In other words, what's it going to look like on a daily basis? The third strategy is to conduct a change readiness and capability study and prepare the organization and its people for the journey. This is a reality test and make sure that we really are ready to go forth, and if we're not, that we do what we need to do right at the beginning. The guide starts with the strategy of developing and maintaining systems for communication, which is communication out, communication back in, which is feedback, as well as for promoting dialogue among people so they can help self-manage. The guide also helps people in letting go of what must be left behind and dealing with the challenges of in-betweenity. The final strategy is to create processes and an environment that promote healthy accountability in order to maintain direction and energy. The third partner in Act 2, and these roles all do work together, is the builder, who has the strategy of expanding and maintaining the web of leaders and building the capabilities required. The second strategy of building the individual, group, and organizational capabilities required in the desired state, and guiding people in the process of discovery and the extended challenges of mastery, adding some complexity. While people are dealing with the challenges found on the journey, they'll also be expected to continue producing and running the ongoing operations. That's often like rebuilding the plane in flight. The leadership role in Act 3, which is completion, is that of the integrator. In Act 3, at the end of a journey, there's a tremendous pull on leaders to disengage too soon or lose focus and discipline. People are tired, other demands for change have come on the scene and are competing for attention, and there's a natural tendency for people to just want it to be over. Not only can a lot of opportunity be missed, but a great deal that has been achieved can be lost at this point in the journey. The integrator has to stand strong in the face of these forces. This is the role that must integrate all of the changes that have been achieved on the journey. They must somehow be brought together so that they fit and work together, and they must be preserved so that they don't slide back or dissipate. There's a period of time when the changes look like they're solid, but are in reality very vulnerable. First role of the integrator is to assess the ripple effects of the changes, including the likely reactions of others, and determine a range of responses. Second strategy is to align what could be called the things of the organization, like structure, processes, technologies, and to institutionalize those changes. The last strategy is to ensure that the people of the organization have internalized the changes. And the key here is that that takes much longer than the strategy of institutionalizing the changes in the things. As Yogi Berra is reputed to have said, it ain't over till it's over. The leadership art is in adapting these roles and strategies. Because these leadership roles and strategies are based on the timeless story of the heroic journey, they will provide a solid foundation in every change setting. However, just as the heroic journey always plays out differently in each heroic story, myth, or movie, so must the roles and strategies be adapted to the realities of each setting.